A mayor diverts public funds meant for a feeding program to a shelter assistance program, both for the poor. Noble intention, right? But the Supreme Court says guilty, because in some crimes, good faith simply doesn't matter. In part 3, we learned about dolo and culpa, the two ways a felony can be committed. Now we're tackling one of the most debated distinctions in Philippine criminal law, mala in se versus mala prohibita. This classification determines something critical, whether good faith can save you from conviction. If you're preparing for the bar exam, this is one of the most frequently tested topics. Kaya let's break it down carefully. Mala in se are crimes that are inherently wrong or immoral. Murder, theft, rape, these are evil by their very nature. In mala in se, the prosecution must prove criminal intent beyond reasonable doubt. And critically, good faith or lack of criminal intent is a valid defense. If you honestly didn't mean to commit the act, you may be acquitted. Mala prohibita, on the other hand, are acts that are not inherently wrong. They're only crimes because a law says so. Violations of BP Bill 22, illegal recruitment, illegal possession of firearms, crimes involving dangerous drugs. These are mala prohibita. Here, the prosecution does not need to prove criminal intent. The mere commission of the prohibited act makes you liable. Good faith? Hindi defense. But here's where it gets complicated. A common misconception is that all mala in SC are found in the revised penal code and all mala prohibita are in special laws. That's not entirely true. As the Supreme Court ruled in Dungo versus People in 2015, the better approach is to look at the inherent immorality or vileness of the penalized act. If the act is immoral in itself, it is malum in se, regardless of where it's found. If it's not immoral in itself but is prohibited by statute for public policy reasons, it is malum prohibitum. For example, plunder is punishable under a special law, Republic Act number 7080, but the Supreme Court in Estrada versus Sandigan Bayan declared it malum in SA because amassing ill-gotten wealth is inherently immoral. On the flip side, technical malversation is found in the revised penal code, yet the Supreme Court in Isidoro versus People classified it as malum prohibitum. Let's go deeper into Isidoro versus People. Mayor Isidoro used 10 boxes of food earmarked for a feeding program and redirected them to beneficiaries of a shelter assistance program. Both were public programs helping the poor. The mayor argued good faith. The intention was still to serve public welfare, but the Supreme Court was firm. Technical malversation is malum prohibitum. The law punishes the act of diverting public property from one public purpose to another, regardless of motive. Criminal intent is completely irrelevant. The prohibited act is not inherently immoral, but positive law forbids its commission based on considerations of public policy, order, and convenience. Dura lex sed lex. The law is hard, but it is the law. Now compare that with Napoles versus Sandigan Bayan in 2017, where the Supreme Court treated plunder as malum in se. The reasoning? When the acts punished are inherently immoral, they are mala in se, regardless of whether they're punished by a special law. It would be absurd to treat prosecutions for plunder the same way as jaywalking violations. So remember, the classification of a crime as malum in SC or malum prohibitum determines whether good faith can save you. Don't rely on where the crime is found. Look at the nature of the act itself. If it's inherently evil, it's malum in se. If it's only wrong because the law says so, it's malum prohibitum. That distinction can mean the difference between acquittal and conviction. That's part 4 of our Fundamental Principles series. Sa part 5, we'll explore something fascinating: the two penal systems operating in the Philippines, the Spanish system and the American system. How do they work? And why does it matter? Subscribe, like, and share YouTube for Law's sake, and let's keep going.